Hello fellow humans and welcome to another episode of your replays. How do you submit yours? Put them on my Discord server, link to that in the video description. And we start off with the Type 71 played by Valkyrie. Now this vehicle is at the moment the prime meta tournament tank. Now why is that? Because it's fast enough to go cap circle camping, and then because it's good enough at cap circle camping. That's why. Now this vehicle does have quite a couple of upsides. For example, it's armor, which is very strong. You also have gun depression, which means you can play this thing very well in hull down. However, you can also do that. Jesus. Playing well also always involves a bit of luck, especially in an RNG heavy game like Blitz. So if luck is against you, you're not very likely to get games like this one. Now, Type 71 is obviously very favored because not only is the turret extremely hard to pin, but the hull is extremely hard to pin as well. Now, with good penetration heat rounds, you're going to go straight through. But for that, you still have to hit the shots, and that's trickier than you think, because this is Blitz, no one can aim. Now, the problem with this vehicle mainly is its gun, which is absolutely abysmal. Like, you have extremely low DPM, and you also have low alpha damage combination that you really do not want. So, to those that scream, oh, it's OP, it's amazing, no, it is not. So, it can't even turn. Like, a 113 turns quicker than this vehicle. So basically, this is one of those tanks that, if you let it run free, it's gonna absolutely wreck you, but the second you start to actually properly fight it, it goes to shit. Because it's also very long, it's an easy target, and the second you, for example, have a Conqueror, which is extremely accurate. You can hit the cupola on this vehicle, for example. The second you do that, the absolute amazing armor does crumble apart very, very quickly. Now, it does have the ability to enhance its traverse speed, which you probably should, because it traverses horribly. And if you wiggle it back and forth, then, you know, it can be a lot better, and you have an increased amount of front armor there. However, still, it's not OP. Whoever says it is, just can't play the game. Because here's the thing. First of all, a tank is only as OP as the player. So the player does make up 80 to 90% of the performance of the vehicle in the end result, because a bad player is even gonna not get any performance out of a smasher. Obviously, a tank that is easier to play tends to do better. Like, a vehicle like this is relatively easy to play, right? You got a good combination of armor, you got enough about mobility to get you where you want to be reasonably fast enough, and then you have a gun that, when it fires, it'll work. So, you have tanks like this that have very, very strong armor. They're easier to play, right? Because skill is your best armor. However, if you don't have skill, then armor is your armor. So, that is very, very helpful there. On top of that, with this vehicle, you also have the fact that it is still somewhat new. I mean, it's obviously been in the game for a couple of months already, but people that return to the game, they probably won't know what this is, so you kind of get a slight bonus there as well from it being newer-ish. But to be honest, a vehicle like this, you can substitute it with a T125 and you'll have the same performance, roughly. However, this performance right here is very, very impressive. Now, you have the thing right there where you got shot from all the side, which is just not good. Like, you don't want to just YOLO straight forward like that, especially when there's a 183 there. You know, a bit overconfident there, just YOLO'd straight forward. It did not end up very well against the 183 and against all the tanks that were in the city. It does not pay off, which is... Like, it worked in this case. It worked absolutely amazingly. However, in most cases, something like that does not pay off. So, don't try to do that. Don't ever run into multiple tanks at the same time. What you want to have is a 1v1, and you have the advantage, right? You're the better tank, you're in the better position, you're the better player. That's what you want to have. You don't want to just run into 5 tanks at the same time, because if 3 people shoot at you, well, they're going to do triple the amount of damage that you can deal, and that's not good. However, I can see a cat go. I dislike that. Anyway. Next, with the Kranwagen, which is a vehicle that can perform very similar to a Type 71. Why? You got the gun depression, you You've got the extremely good turret armor. And, well, you don't quite have the hull armor on this tank, but the mobilities are fairly similar. Now, with the gun, again, you have low DPM and relatively low alpha damage. However, the Kranwagen does have is an auto-reloader, which means you can do 1,200 damage with the full 3-shot clip. And yes, it's going to take you a long time to reload. However, if it's worth using it, you should use it. And a situation like this is perfect for the Kranwagen. Again, this is something that you should try and do, because those cupolas on top, they can be pinned. And obviously because this is an oscillating turret, as in the entire turret moves rather than just the gun, well, half the turret, you might want to be able, you might be able to do that where you actually elevate your gun so that you get your cupolas depressed so no one can even attempt to shoot at those cupolas. Now, the Object 268 is a very annoying tank destroyer. Why? It's the most generic tank destroyer you can imagine. If you think of tank destroyer, that's the tank most people are going to think of. At least I will. And it's super annoying to deal with in terms of the armor as well, because it's just very weirdly sloped. You don't really have that on the Kranwagen, you just have a very, very thick turret. It's a very small tank as well. Like, this thing is really tiny. It's pretty easy to hide it. However, you shouldn't do that. And, oh my god, what kind of luck is that? 341, that is a horribly low alpha damage roll right there. And now the E50M can live on for a few more precious moments. And now, situation like this. You know where the 268 is, so you want to be very careful here to not just drive out carelessly. Just expose yourself to a 268, because he could be sitting there. However, at this amount of hit points, you might as well go for it. And one thing about American asses, they're thick, but they're very easy to pen in a lot of cases. So if you have an M40 pattern, if you have an E5, if you have pretty much any American tank, the rear armor is a joke. 30, 40 millimeters in most cases, so it's very easy to pen that. Just shoot straight through it with your HE. If you can hit it, that is, obviously. 5.5k damage, very nice result here already. Again, pretty long game, right? Because obviously the longer the game is, the longer you have time to build up that damage. Especially in a tank with low DPM like this one, which means the more drawn out a game is going to come to a very, very good advantage of this vehicle. And like the Type 71, it likes to flex its armor to absolutely destroy anyone that's ahead of it. Very nice games. Thank you very much for sending in. Let's see for the next one. Thank you very much for watching. 6k damage. It's Mines. Well, Mines is a horrible map, but it works. So thank you for watching. See you next one. Bye.